Time for another driveway walk. We're debating taking these pillars out, but I'll cover that elsewhere. This time we started some work out here. We took out quite a few small shrubs and even a tree from that area. That's really much nicer. This thing is mostly dead from the ivy. It's been choked out. We're going to take that down, but it's like 3 or 4 trunks all growing out here, and this is quite wide at the bottom, so we're never going to get that whole stump out ourselves. But we ought to be able to take this stuff down. We do have these wires across the street and the road itself. Got to be careful with that. That's for next year. Anyway, no huge changes this time. We did some more limbing up over here on that tree, which may or may not be here long term. We don't know yet. Did some limbing on this tree here. There were a couple low limbs right about there. That's basically the property line. We talked to the neighbors and they agreed no problem to take a couple limbs off just because they didn't belong and they were going to drop. And that line of trees beyond the cedar, these trees here, that's the property line. It's pretty clear from the street. But anyway, we did some more limbing on a couple trees, and then we cleared out this area, some more of this area between us, another 50 or so feet. Kind of cleared out small brush and a larger tree or two, nothing too big, and some vines. So that's progress. We're going to keep going back through there. I marked a lot of stumps. You can see that orange stump. That need to be trimmed down flush so I can mow over them. That one's still high. I didn't get to that. That's a good sized stump. I needed a bigger saw. But I did a lot of that. But otherwise, most of the change is just in that area over there to the right. And you can see it ends at about those 2 trees. It's the sun coming in. I'm not an expert videographer. You can see in there, geez, there we go, where we stopped. Used to come out almost to where that little cedar tree is, right over there. So we've cleared that. It looks much nicer. Still some work to be done. And then we'll continue going back a bit, you know, a little section at a time in the future as we see fit. But it looked about like that before. And eventually we're kind of thinking we'll take it back to about where that gray shed is. And then from there, the gully, I call it a gully, it's an inlet in the cove that is sort of scalloped out in the land. As you know, it's not a steep bank or anything, it's kind of like a spoonful scooped out of the bank. And that comes up just inside the gray shed and forms a good natural border between us and our neighbor. And there isn't much we could do down there. So we'll probably leave most of the stuff in there as is. It also keeps the house hidden from the road, which we like, because the house is right through there, you can see it. We're way back from the road. It's not a big deal, but it's nice to have the screen. So I doubt we'll go further than the gray shed. But one piece at a time. Next time we'll do that section right there probably. Heidi's been doing more devining to get rid of the invasive vines that choke out these trees. But that's kind of the gist of what we did this time on the property. Nothing as major as other times. Just stuff to pick away at when we feel like it. I don't know if you can see at all in there, but just inside this corrugated section, right through this little arc, the ground starts to drop off, and then the the little cove is on one side of that. So that's where the ground stops being flat. And walk in there a little. I don't know, this doesn't really show up. Basically right in there, it starts to drop off pretty significantly. It kind of curves around like this. So we won't come back any further than this with the major clearing. I'm sure there will be more stuff we could take out of here, but we do want to keep the screen going so the house is invisible from the road. That's kind of nice. Back to the driveway. We did a little more clear out between that shed and over here. Sorry, my hand. Some small brush and just kind of cleaned it up. Heidi did most of that. I moved some stuff that I had stored there because it used to be kind of a semi-hidden area, but now we're not storing anything there. So once we get kind of inside this section that we want to leave natural, then we start opening up again. And this area here towards the house, it's not going to change much from how it is, but we'll keep it kind of open like that. Again, that gully forms this side of the property over here and then around here. So it's just sort of a shallow slope, but it's quite a drop off to the water. I know it won't show up, but maybe you can see the water sparkling through the trees here. That's the creek. And then right behind where the trailer is, that's kind of the line where my finger is of that depression. Just to give you a sense of the landscape. It's a beautiful fall day, October 2nd, 2024. Leaves are falling, but there's still a lot on the trees. It's been a nice October down here. Weather's been great. Today is a little cooler. We were almost 80 yesterday. Today's more like 60. Really nice. So here's the creek, and I think you can see how much lower it is than where I am. And that's that little dip. So in addition to this blue shed that we use to store all kinds of things, including that little tractor, this canvas tent I put up this fall. It's just one of those cover guard, inexpensive tents, but that has my other tractor in it and some other stuff, just temporary storage. We need to build a new shed, but we haven't had time. Hopefully next spring we'll build a real shed to house the tractor and some tools and that sort of thing, and tide us over well till we can build a garage. But this is our catch-all shed now. Trying to keep it organized. All that stuff on the floor is coming home with us. We're leaving tomorrow, late tonight actually. But it holds paint and supplies and tools and everything else, and that small garden tractor. It's very valuable to us because we don't have anywhere to store this stuff otherwise. But it's a constant battle for me to A, get it organized, and B, keep it organized where I can find stuff. And I'm working off some very rough benches or shelving on the right side there that were there already, and they're not great, but they aren't ideal what I would put in, but we're working with them. So the storage is hardly idealized, but it's getting better, and it's mostly stuff we need now, a little bit of excess stuff that probably won't be here in the long run. But and here we are back up to the parking area in the house. That dragon there marks where our well is. I'm just Just give you a quick once around. I don't know if you remember one of the earliest videos I made here from April 2022, what this looked like going out this driveway, but all you could see was a little band of light at the very end of the driveway. All the rest of it was choked in with trees and growth and piles of stuff. So we continue to remark at what a change this has been. Even though we've done it all ourselves, it kind of is amazing. It's hard to remember the way it was 2 years ago, 2.5 years. And then we'll just continue all the way around. Neighbor on the other side. That's it for this video.